Nerdy thoughts while I'm walking my dogs. So yeah, I read Big Game by Mark Miller and Pepe Larraz earlier today. I made a couple different videos on that I'll be publishing maybe today and tomorrow. We'll see. But it did get me thinking about Mark Millar's work. I always say Millar because I didn't know it was supposed to be said Miller for a long time. I just thought it was a different way to say it, Millar. I don't know. That's probably what I'm going to say because I've said it forever. But going back to what I was actually talking about, Mark's work it's not all superhero stuff, even though his universe, his like independent world that he's been building for so long, has been modeled pretty heavily on DC Comics. Not all of his independent work is superhero stuff, though. There is Starlight and Empress are both Star Wars stories, but not Star Wars, basically. And then he's got some other stuff like Chrononauts is not any superhero work, it's sci-fi. And then you got like Sharky the Bounty Hunter or whatever it was. That's, again, more just straight up sci-fi stuff rather than any superhero work explicitly. And it makes me think about Mark's career overall. And I can't think about his career overall. Sorry, I had to help my dog out there for a second. I can't help but think about his career in relation to Grant Morrison, and kind of wish that Morrison had done what Miller did, and that is like build a universe that interconnects in the way that Miller's does. That was his own, that he didn't have to think about what DC was doing. I know he does some of his best work with the big two, but like he could have built his own world, his own big thing in a very similar way, and I kind of wish he had done that instead of spending so much effort over at DC Comics specifically, because that's where he's done more of his work, or their work. I'm still getting myself in the habit of saying there because they were okay with he for so long. But that being said, I do wish Morrison had done that and built some kind of interconnected world in the same way. Claws is maybe the closest we get to that, but even Claws is like very specifically a one-time thing. It's not part of a bigger thing. Like it doesn't connect to the Nameless, and it doesn't connect to the Invisibles or something like that. And I think even trying to connect to the Invisibles would be hard to do for him or them at this point because of the rights issue with Vertigo and all that stuff. So I just kind of wish that Grant had done that. That would have been really cool. I think he would have been very successful at it. And yeah, just kind of wish that had happened.